Welcome to the MetaGame with Oni Black Mage, and today we're going to be reviewing Brutal Legend. Now I know this game's been out for almost about a month, and if you weren't going to play it, then you aren't, and if you have it, then you probably love it. But to be honest, this is a game that I feel needs some more publicity. It is one of those kind of independent games, and it is done by the very clever Tim Schafer, and has been unjustly painted as an RTS. Really, it's more of an action-adventure game more than RTS, even though there are a lot of RTS sections, mainly the Battle of the Bands, but really, this is more of an action-adventure game that's handles like Fable, sometimes mixed with Eggman. But regardless, this definitely has a lot of humor, a lot of excellent gameplay, smooth controls, and an impressive cast, such as Lemmy, Rob Halford, Vita Ford. You also have Tim Curry. You also have the Lord of Metal played by Ozzy Osbourne, and of course you have Tenacious D's Kyle Gass and Jack Black. But really, as far as the gameplay, you find there's actually going to be a lot of varied. Such examples, you have a lot of mini missions that you do to collect fan tributes, which is pretty much your currency in this world. Note that this game actually has a very impressive game of 108 metal tracks. Even if you don't like metal, you can mute it. You can also edit your playlist, but man, excellent selection. But don't forget, this game only unfortunately has one save file at a time, and while there is no New Game Plus, once you beat the game, you are allowed to continue past and complete any miscellaneous missions, side objectives, or go ahead and collect money. Also, it's a good thing to note that if you're wondering what the difficulty in this game, it really isn't. You can actually play on Brutal difficulty and find that it isn't as hard as you would think something called Brutal is. Challenging, but certainly not impossible. So let's cover a couple of the more interesting mini-games. This one over here, Death Rack, you notice that it's in your best interest to definitely have a more accurate and powerful fast weapon. While for the cannoneering jobs, you're going to see that while you're mainly driving around and your vehicle's weapons have been stripped, you are driving in a car, and don't forget that as driving in a car, you can go ahead and run over any enemies that are either getting too close to the cannoneering's mortar base, or simply help your allies, really. I mean, this is a druid plow, so keep to its namesake. As for the other remaining missions, such as the Ironhead Sneak Attack, one of the first things you're going to notice once you get the basis from Killmaster, you can double team with them and stun enemies in a very large radius. So go ahead and drive in the middle of any infantry, stun them, and land a face baker, or face melter. And you'll pretty much win either most of the beginning ones, and definitely cut down the ranks of the later ones. Don't forget that Drowning Pool's also weak against fire, so make sure to land those fire combos and fire spell rips on them, so make them pretty easy work. As for money itself, the main source is going to be from, of course, the game, playing with the main arcs, doing side quests as you may expect, but also, believe it or not, there's actually a way to get infinite money in this game in a fairly easy manner. As you're driving around in a druid plow, you're going to find that there's a lot of times you can see your faction occasionally fight animals or an enemy faction. Now, when they're fighting anything that isn't an animal or a beast running around, and they are fighting an enemy faction, help them. If you help destroy that enemy faction, even if it's just one, you will get awarded 15 flames. With that, given the fact that there's infinite spawning in this game, you essentially have infinite flame tributes. So make sure when you're running low on funds or just want to save up for the next big investment, to go ahead and run around, follow any teams running around, and collect flame tributes that way. Of course, the main draw is, of course, the Battle of the Bands. This is the RTS section itself, so you have a lot of the same principles. Collect resources, upgrade your base, and you can also contribute yourself by laying down a lot of solos. The most important one, of course, I would say is Rally Flag. Always walk around with this. With this, your new summon units will follow you instead of just standing there at the beginning of creation. Being fast is, of course, essential. And don't forget that you can also utilize Call of the Wild as a free unit, essentially, helping exceed your cap. The important thing, like any other RTS, is to help interrupt enemy flow, be fast with them with gaining points, and while you're gaining those resource points, which are the fans and the tributes, lay down a little bit of guard so that way when the enemy comes to get them, they're going to find a little bit of resistance while you come and help back them up. But even on brutal difficulty, you'll find this isn't that bad, even past the Guitar Hero-esque quick, furious button tapping to rhythm. Now, for a little bit of help with a couple of the later ones that are the more difficult, when you're in the second battle of Sea of Black Tears versus Dark Ophelia, make sure to build up to the Rock Crusher first before anything, and get your army maxed out. Ophelia sends out a couple of weak units at first, but you'll find that you can handle them pretty easily. Once you have the Rock Crusher, immediately double team with it and destroy the 2 towers with the Blade Hedge special attack. Once you do that, be prepared for initial heavy resistance. Odds are she'll not only have a balloon against you, but also that giant tree. Go ahead and Blade Hedge the hell out of them, and once they're destroyed, you'll actually find that she sends very little resistance past that point because you can pretty much take your main forces and go straight for her stage. Now versus Diviculus, the attack comes in 3 main stages really. You have the initial stage that's actually pretty quiet, you can handle any resistance that comes your way. So make sure to build up your army, you upgrade and max out its size and resources, and when you're ready to take on the head, take out 1 head at a time. As soon as you take out a head, there's going to be immediate strong spawns, but since you built up your army, you'll be able to handle them. Once you take down the second head, you can actually go ahead and go directly for the center ramp to end the stage. Otherwise, again, against Drowning Doom, they're weak against fire, so versus your first couple skirmishes against them, where you get Fire Barons, use Fire Barons liberally. Fire Barons and vehicles will get you through it, no problem. Of course, as soon as you enter the easternmost part of the map, where most of Drowning Doom is, make sure to run around the Druid Plow and explore most of the areas. You will be able to get all of the riffs and all the guitar solos, so as soon as you enter the remaining stage battles, which are the more challenging ones in the game, you will have all of the good ones. Light of Dawn is so helpful versus Drowning Doom. Of course, Battle Cry to help empower your warriors. So just make sure to keep on track, keep fast, and enjoy the game. As a closing note, I would like to ask if anyone has the 6 Degrees of Schafer achievement. If so, I would like to set up an appointment with you to help, for me to gain that and pay it forward to anyone else. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay tuned for another metagame, and have a good game.
Okay, see you later, Guardian of Metal.
Rock and roll!